Oh.
Do you want me to speak into the camera? Or
Yeah, you can.
To you?
No, you can speak to me. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So, thank you for meeting with me.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you got started doing comedy?
Well, I've been interested in stand-up comedy since I was like 7 years old. I used to stay home from school so I could watch Comedy Central because my mom wouldn't let me. So I would play hooky and then go watch stand-up.
Nice.
It was something I always wanted to do, but I never really had like the guts to do it until I was 19, and they had an open mic at my community college. I was at Willow International at the time, and a friend of mine actually hosted the open mic, and so I got up on stage and I just they gave me an amount of time, like however much I wanted to do, so I just got up there and I screamed my material for 10 minutes because I was nervous. And ever since then, it's just been open mics and meeting new people and friends, and it's a great lifestyle.
Did you have something prepared that night, or did you just go in without knowing?
I had written some jokes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I had written them like on my wrist, so I was just like screaming and looking at my wrist.
Did people know that you had them on? Like, could you say,
yes, it was obvious because I used a Sharpie. So.
Do you do that now?
Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I like to have notes with me because I digress a lot, so having a little outline helps. Some of the more professional people have like really carved out sets, but I'm more cavalier.
I went and saw a comedy show like months ago or something, and it was down at what's that place across from the courthouse? Club One. We were at Club One,
One's great.
and there was a lady there was a girl, and she had all of her whole set like on her hand, and it was written out, and she was like, and then she would go back and then, what's this? I'm like, have you ever written down?
I probably know that person.
Not to call them out on anything.
No, our female comedians are great. Like, I mean, write it out on your hand because it's brilliant.
So let's see. Do you only perform locally, or do you go all over, like the state, or?
I want to travel more. I'm
Yeah.
also a college student, so I perform locally, and I try to just keep plugged into the scene here. I do want to travel, though. I think when my schedule loosens up, I want to go more places, try more rooms.
So then, do we have a good, like, local scene here for comedy?
It's alive and well, and there's a lot of people who promote, and there's a lot of people who book people for shows. I do wish we had a comedy club.
Yes.
I wish we had a better venue for it, because it's kind of like they're forced into situations where maybe sometimes it's not great for performing, like sometimes bars and things like that. But we have fun, and it's always great, and we have really talented people here, so
And there's like
make it work.
There's a group of people who are like there's a group of comedians here in Fresno, I guess.
Yeah.
That kind of stick together and have each other's backs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, comedy is always very family-based because it's like, it's people who kind of maybe had trouble fitting in other places and other art forms. So it's a very specific form of expression. So if you're drawn to it, a lot of the time you're like-minded.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like drama.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So then that kind of leads me to, where do you get some of your material from? Is it like personal stuff, or do you, hit on current event type things, or?
I like to make jokes about current events. I find that in this time in my life where I'm kind of trying to carve out an identity, a lot of my jokes are very, like, observation-based from my point of view, like how this affects me. But I do like to make jokes about the news and Donald Trump.
Who doesn't like to make fun of Donald Trump?
Who doesn't?
Right? No, yeah. Let me think. Well, I guess that's kind of the same as like where you get your inspiration from then, huh?
Inspiration strikes like by witnessing something that I find funny, or I'll be on the treadmill or just going throughout my everyday life and it'll just hit me and I'm like, oh, I think that's really funny. So I'll just write it down. It's a lot of people use that when they tweet and things like that. They'll just, something will strike them. But for me, I try to just sit down with it and craft it into a comedy-friendly.
So then you don't just like write down an idea and then leave it like that. You are changing it and tweaking it. And
Yeah, you gotta try it and see what works, because sometimes the way you think it's funny initially, like, you could even bounce it off of other comedians. You could say, hey, I have this idea for a joke, and then they'll help you with it. Like, two minds are definitely better than one.
And it's not like you feel like you're like stealing or like borrowing someone's idea if they help you with it, right?
No, I think you can ask them, like, are you comfortable with me using
yeah.
this? Like, we like to help each other out. Like, numerous jokes of mine have been punched up by friends of mine, and
Yeah.
I've helped other people too. It's great. It's a cool thing to do. Because it's like a jam session for a jazz musician.
Yeah.
Like, you become better by watching other people and working with other people. And
It's a craft for sure.
right. Definitely it's an art form.
Let's see. So I know that this Friday is just all females.
Mhm.
So do you feel like there's a different feel when it's only women on stage, or do you think like you'll get a different feel of people, or like different audience members, or is it just kind of the same as in just a regular show?
I think that if people are coming to see, they brand themselves as the Golden Girls of comedy, and they're
Which you are not.
I'm not,
I mean, right? I mean,
not
just
there
from the,
yet.
Right? Yeah. When I saw the picture, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. But I think that, yeah, if you are like an older person and that kind of demographic appeals to you, but I think comedy's for everybody, and then it's important to watch people that you wouldn't normally watch too, because you'd be surprised how funny, like how much you can relate. Comedy really is about bringing people together. So if me, a young person, can go to a show with a bunch of older women and I can laugh with them, like that's definitely a sacred thing. They're hilarious. They're gonna be funny for everybody, all age groups.
And oh, do you feel, this is like totally just because I'm curious about it. Do you being a comedian, like when people say, well, because if people ask you what you do, is that what you would say? I'm a comedian, or you say I'm a student, or I'm a.
I
Do you have
generally like to say I'm a student,
Oh, okay.
because I find that when you say I'm a comedian, they want you to perform for them.
Yes, that's
or
what I was going to ask you.
That's
Yeah.
the typical reaction of like, oh, like, who can tell me a joke, or
Right. Do something funny.
do something really
Yeah.
funny. There's suddenly an expectation that you're supposed to be funny in your
Right.
everyday life, and the truth is, a lot of comedians are not funny in
Right.
their everyday lives. Like, I really like having a bad day and then being able to just be allowed to have that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why are you so upset? Why aren't you happy right now? Why aren't you laughing? Why aren't you cracking jokes? I don't like to be held to any kind of standards with that.
Yeah.
So generally I just, hey, would you like to come to the show? Yes, I'm a comedian. Please don't hold me to that.
Yeah. Not going to be funny every day, all day long.
Nope. Dance, monkey, dance.
Right. I hear that a lot from people. Okay. And then do you have a specific style on stage, do you think?
I like one-liners.
Oh.
I like misdirecting people. I really like heavy sarcasm, things that surprise people. I'm actually a very how do I say this? Like,